The crying started exactly at 2:17 a.m. Not a scream, not a sob, just soft, broken weeping, slow and rhythmic, like someone trying very hard not to be heard. At first, I thought it was my neighbor's TV. Then I realized the sound was coming from outside my bedroom window. I live alone in a small house on the edge of a quiet suburban street in Oregon. No traffic at night. No pedestrians. Just trees, streetlights, and silence. Except for the crying. I sat up in bed, my heart already pounding. The sound wasn't loud, but it felt close. Too close. I moved the curtain aside just enough to peek out. Under the streetlight across from my driveway stood a woman. She was wearing a long, pale dress that looked old-fashioned, like something from a different century. Her black hair hung over her face, hiding it completely. Her shoulders shook as she cried. I told myself she was drunk. Or lost. Or someone having a breakdown. But then I noticed something that made my stomach drop. Her feet were not touching the ground. They hovered inches above the pavement, perfectly still. I let the curtain fall and backed away from the window. "This isn't real," I whispered. The crying stopped. For a full 10 seconds, there was silence. Then came 3 slow knocks on my front door. Knock, knock, knock. I froze. No one knocks at 2:17 a.m. My phone buzzed on the nightstand. A text from an unknown number. "Don't let her in." My hands were shaking so badly I almost dropped the phone. Another knock. Louder this time. "Please," a woman's voice whispered from the other side of the door. "I just need help." Her voice sounded wet, like she was crying through water. I didn't answer. The handle began to turn. I ran to the bedroom, locked the door, and hid in the closet like a terrified child. From somewhere inside the house, I heard footsteps. Slow. Careful. She was already inside. That was the moment I realized something horrifying. I had never unlocked the door. The footsteps stopped outside my bedroom. Then came the crying again, right on the other side of the door. "Why won't you look at me?" she whispered. I pressed my hands over my mouth to keep from screaming. After several minutes, the crying faded. The footsteps moved away. When the sun came up, I convinced myself it was a nightmare. Until I found wet footprints leading from my front door to my bedroom. That morning, I called my grandmother. She's Mexican American and deeply spiritual, someone who believes the world is full of things we can't see. When I described the woman, the crying, and the floating feet, she went silent. Then she said 4 words that made my blood run cold. "La Llorona followed you. The weeping woman. A spirit said to wander at night, crying for the children she drowned. A ghost that attaches itself to people who hear her cries." "Did you look at her?" my grandmother asked. "No." "Good," she said. "If you see her face, she never leaves." I laughed nervously. "Grandma, I don't believe in that stuff." "You will," she replied. "Because she doesn't come once. She comes home." That night, I slept with every light on. At exactly 2:17 a.m., the crying started again. This time, it was inside the house. From the hallway, I stayed under the blankets, heart racing, sweat soaking the sheets. Then I felt something sit on the edge of my bed. The mattress dipped. Cold air brushed my face. "You heard me," she whispered. "Now I hear you." I didn't move. I didn't breathe. I felt her lean closer. Her hair brushed my cheek, soaking wet and ice cold. Look at me. I screamed and threw the blanket off. The room was empty, but the mirror across from my bed was fogged up. Words slowly appeared, written from the inside. Why did you follow me? I moved out the next day. New apartment. New city. No street lights near my windows. I thought I had escaped. For a week, everything was quiet. On the 8th night, I was driving home late when I saw a woman standing on the sidewalk, crying. Same dress. Same hair. Same hovering feet. I slammed the brakes and turned around. She was suddenly sitting in the passenger seat. I crashed into a tree. When I woke up in the hospital, the nurse asked who the woman was that brought me in. What woman? I asked. The one crying, she said. She wouldn't stop. I checked out early. Now, wherever I go, I hear her. In reflections. In running water. In the sound of rain hitting the ground. She doesn't knock anymore. She doesn't ask. She just waits, standing at the edge of my vision. Crying. And sometimes, when I'm almost asleep, I feel her breath on my face. So if you ever hear a woman crying late at night, don't look. Don't follow. And whatever you do, don't bring her home. Because once she follows you, she never leaves.